there's been multiple reports that the American dream now costs upwards of $4 million. Last year, the report that came out last year, according to Investopedia.com, right? They had this research or whatever it is that they had, or publication on their site, and they said the American dream cost $3.3 million or $3.4 million, right? And this is 2024, and American dream now costs $4.4 million. It's going at this rate. I think it's only going to keep going up, right? I mean, I don't see it coming back down, right? I mean, cost of living keeps going up every year, every day, not even every year. So if the cost of living keeps going up every year, how will the American dream be achieved at a lesser cost? I don't see that happening, man. But I'm just going to go here and look at what Investopedia actually has to say about this thing called the American dream, right? I mean, most people come here to experience this American dream, and the American dream pretty much is owning a house and being in the middle class group, having kids, raising them in your house, paying your mortgage. After 30 years you've paid off your mortgage, just be able to afford the basic things of life. Every now and then take a vacation with your family, send your kids to college and all that good stuff, which America gives the opportunity for most people, who would unfortunately not have that same opportunity in their home countries, right? But right now it's getting expensive, like pretty expensive, like $4.4 million. That's interesting, right? Here I'm looking at Investopedia.com, and they say for retirement you need at least $1.6 million, right? Recommended minimum savings for 20 years of retirement based on median income for households 65 plus. I don't even know what $1.6 million is gonna. I mean, that's a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but if you're 65, maybe you have 20 more years to live. I don't know. Will $1.5 million take care of you for the rest of the 20 years? I guess depending on how you spend and all that good stuff, right? And then here it says owning a car costs $800,000. And the description here says total monthly new car payments for 2 adults, not including fuel and maintenance, from ages 29 to 74. Whoa, $811,000, not including fuel and maintenance. This is just the cost of the payments on the car, of a new car, right? This is interesting. And then your wedding, $44,000, wedding ceremony, reception, and engagement ring. I mean, I think this is on the high side, though. I mean, how many people do a wedding for $44,000? I don't know. I wouldn't, though. Call me cheap or whatever it is, but I wouldn't. $44,000, that's a lot of money. That could be a down payment for a house. That could be a car. That could be a savings. That could be savings for your kids' college. That could be whole lot of. This could start a business. There's a lot of money. To just do a wedding ceremony. I mean, if you have a rich dad who's gonna give you this money, by all means, go ahead and do it, right? But if you're gonna save for this or take a loan for this, I mean, I wouldn't do it. I mean, you do what's best for you, but I wouldn't, for sure. And then it says raising two children plus college, $832,000. This is 2 kids. We're not talking about family of 3 kids, 4 kids, right? Raising 2 children through age 17, then paying for each to attend a public 4-year institution. Whoa, $832,000. This is for 2 kids from age 17. They're not even accounting for 0 to 17 or 0 to 16 years. They're only accounting from 17 through college and all that good stuff. And then owning a home is almost $1 million at this time. I mean, this is pretty much accurate, right? Because the average, I was talking with a friend the other day, she was saying the starter home cost of maybe $150,000. You can't even see that anymore. You know, right now, if you want to get into the home ownership space, you have to have at least $300,000, or at least you have to budget for at least $300,000 and above, right? You can't find a house of $150,000 anywhere in America anymore. This is crazy, man. And then pets. I mean, this would be for people who own pets, right? For me, I'm not a pet person. I don't know. I just don't like pets. They're messy. You know, I just that's me though. But a lot of people like pets. It would cost you about almost $40,000 total expense of owning one dog and one cat, including one time and annual costs. Wow, wow. This is just one dog and one cat. Some people have two dogs. Some people have three dogs over their lifetime because, dogs die after what, 17, 18 years, right? They get old, they die. People buy another one or get another one, and then, whoa. Mine, yearly vacation, 179,000. Hey, if you follow me, you would know I'm someone who's somehow, somehow I'm for some reason I'm against vacations, right? Because and hey, if you can afford a vacation, by all means go for it. But personally, I don't see any reason to to go on a vacation if you're still trying to survive life, and that's where my problem is. I was listening to Mark Cuban the other day, and he said while he was coming up, he didn't take vacations for 7 years while he was coming up. And this was in his 20s and maybe mid 30s, right? He didn't take any vacations. And we know how he became very successful around that same time period. So he could totally afford any type of vacation he wanted, right? After he blew up, he created his company. I think it was broadcast.com or whatever. And, he sold that company and sold it for billions, I guess. And, that basically made him a billionaire, right? And then your funeral cost here is 800, almost $8,500. And they sum everything up to $4.4 million. That's it for the American dream, right? That's it for the American dream. $4.4 million. This is interesting. I don't know, man. $4.4 million to live the American dream. That's insane. But anyway, I'm gonna move to another story that I have here. And this one is from a popular Nigerian influencer, former radio host, Daddy Freeze. And I have a video I'm gonna play here in 1 second. I guess I don't have my shit together today again. I have to go find Instagram real quick. I'll typically have my Instagram opened already, but I guess today I'm just a little bit clumsy or whatever, right? Let's see what we have here. All right, let's see. Yeah, I should have had this already open. I hate it when I'm wasting valuable time because I want to stick to the 1 hour time period, but here I am wasting my time. All right, now it won't come on, huh? All right, let me try on this window and see if it lets me. All right, here it is. Actually, it's actually on this screen, so I can use this. Okay, my mic is acting up. I can use this screen for sure. All right, and here we have Daddy Freeze talking about the American dream. Not the American dream, but going to church. Sorry, I'm a little bit flustered now because I just lost my pace a little bit. But anyway, let's share my screen here and then we get into this real quick. And I hope this wouldn't be one of those days where I share my screen and then I think it's playing in the background, but it's not playing. But anyway, here we are, and it's on Tunde Ednot's page. So shout out to Tunde Ednot. Let's hear what he has to say.
Movement and leader of the free nation in Christ, I greet you and I bring glad tidings. Okay, let's talk about going to church. Going to church in Nigeria is counterproductive. It's a waste of your time. Why? There are 4 types of people. Those that carry the Bible up and down, they don't read it. Those that read the Bible, they don't understand it. And those that understand it, don't practice it. But you see, the people that practice it don't read, don't carry, and don't understand. They just practice it by default. The more you go to a Nigerian church, the further away from the true biblical gospel you will be. You will end up searching for prosperity in the house of God. You will end up trying to buy your enemies in the house of God. Meanwhile, Christ told the rich man, he said, sell everything and give to the poor and follow me. Instead, your pastor is telling you, come here, we will go and collect from the poor. Christ fed 5,000. He did not collect 1 naira from anybody. 5,000 are feeding your pastors. There is nowhere in the Bible that says if you don't go to church, you will not make heaven. There's nowhere in the Bible that says if you don't pray, you will not make heaven. Your pastors are teaching that how important prayer is and how important going to church is. Why? Because if you not pray, how they go take chop for their plenty prayer devotions. And if you not come church, how their office won't take run. But the Bible says if you don't take care of the people around you, you will not make heaven. Matthew 25:31-41. The Bible says if you don't love, you don't know God. 1 John chapter 4 verse 8. The Bible in the Good Samaritan proverb says you cannot make eternal life if you don't take care of your neighbor. That's not what your church teaches. The church teaches you that eternal life is inside the church. Foul. The church teaches you that is speaking in tongues. That's nonsense. Speaking in tongues were human languages. Acts chapter 2 verifies this, and 1 Corinthians chapter 14 verse 26 even says they must have interpreter. Since don't you go Pentecostal church, never seen interpreter before? The Bible, Matthew chapter 5, if you read from verse 44, says, bless your enemies. Pray for those that are doing wickedness to you. Instead, you are doing weatherman, casting fire and thunder on their head. All this you learn from church. The more church you attend, the people that I know go to church are the least Christian, and they tell them, I say, you are the furthest away from Christianity. Some Buddhists are more Christian than people when they go Nigerian church. Because what you are actually going to do is to help your pastor's business expand. Go do buy and law. Sit in your house, read the Bible yourself. Maybe then you'll be able to practice what's inside. And nothing go do your pastor when they're closing shop during COVID. In by one, sit down for house. God is inside you and around you, not inside a building built by human hands. Acts chapter 7 verse 48 and Acts chapter 17 verse 24 says God does not live in man-made temples. Your church is not the house of God. It is the real estate business where your pastor will live giving Peking. The day you figure this out, the better for you. Let me bless you with a cold start this morning. God bless. Not go collect cost for church, you. Me, I don't log out.
All right, Daddy Freeze, my shout out to Daddy Freeze. Hey, my thing is this, right? I was raised Christian first and foremost, so I'm not gonna sit here and try to bash Christianity or whatever. But a lot of things that Daddy Freeze says, I agree with. A lot of what he says, a lot of the things he says. I don't know if I still follow him or if I ever followed him or whatever, right? But a lot of his teachings, when it comes to the Bible and all that good stuff, it's mostly commonsensical stuff, like things you don't need to think too much about. Like it's written in plain English. You don't need an interpreter or someone to explain it in plain English. And obviously, if you've heard him, you know for sure that Daddy Freeze is one very good Bible scholar. He studied his Bible and he knows what he's talking about. So there's no way around the whole Bible that you can trick him or try to trick him, because he's read the Bible himself. He doesn't need anybody to read it and explain it for him, right? So when he says these things, he's saying it with some authority, with some level of authority as someone who's read the Bible. But unfortunately, a lot of Nigerians, when they hear someone speak like this, speak so confidently like this about, something that they've believed in for the most part of their lives, they tag that person the devil, which is very interesting. How about you just sit down and listen to this person and try to actually see if what he's saying is a lie, right? He's quoted some Bible passages. How about you open those Bible passages or those places in the Bible, open it up and read and see if he's lying? How about that before you argue? I'm going to read the comment section and then you would see how the typical Nigerian would, want to bash him for saying something which is in the Bible, which those same people claim to believe in. And when he calls those things out exactly like verbatim, how it is in the Bible, they catch feelings. They're all in their feelings. Oh, who gave you the authority, the audacity to talk about Christianity? You're not a pastor. You're not this. You're not that. You're not. It's very interesting, like you said, most Nigerians who go to church, they are the furthest away from the Christian which they claim to be. I've said this multiple times myself. I didn't necessarily relate it to the Christendom or whatever, right? I just relate it to the average Nigerian not having empathy, not being a good person. Just average Nigerian is just not a good person, right? I've said this multiple times on my platforms. But anyway, let me go to the comment section here and let's see what other people have to say about what Daddy Freeze said, right? Hyperbeats says, it's funny how most people think Daddy Freeze is an antichrist, but to me, he understands the fundamental source of how Christianity originated rather than the prominent pastors we have in our society. He said nothing but fact. I totally agree. Everything he said is from the Bible, right? He didn't manufacture these things from somewhere. He got the information he's passing is from the Bible. Speaking in tongues were actual human languages, right? It's in the Bible. If you argue that, you can go to the Bible. He gave some scripts in Acts, and you can go there and see if he's lying about it, right? And then you can come argue. It's very interesting. But let's keep going. Where's the lie? Now then, wicked pass. You can worship God from anywhere. Absolutely. You don't have to preach to us not to go to church. Please do you and allow us to do us. All right. Obubulo Tracy. This person says, Daddy Freeze, you don't have to preach to us not to go to church. Please do you and allow us to do us. He's not even telling you to not go to church. That's not even the message, right? That's not the message. I mean, I guess it's tagged going to church is a waste of time, but he's not saying don't go to church. He's just pointing out some facts that the church is in you. You can worship in your house. You don't necessarily have to go to church. Nowhere did he say don't go to church, right? Okay. Oga rest. Nobody forced you go church. Fuel has gone up and again talk better thing at be on a day high. I don't know, man. This person seems to be frustrated about the cost of fuel in Nigeria. Shout out to T-Pain, man. T-Pain is the nickname Nigerians have given to the current president, Tinubu. They've called him T-Pain because he's inflicting pain on the citizens. So shout out to T-Pain, man. All right. So this person says, I don't go to church button. Okay. In his presence there's fullness of joy, and at his right hand are pleasures forevermore. Amen. Okay. I pray you don't ever have a problem that only going to church will save you. Same Bible says, forsake not the gathering of brethren. Where do brethren gather? Church. Be not a fool, Freeze. Okay, again, he didn't say don't go to church. He didn't say that. He says it's a waste of time, right? He says you can worship in your house. He didn't say don't go to church. I guess I missed it. Maybe I missed it where he said it, right? But maybe I missed it. But hey, I didn't hear when he said don't go to church. What he said, or what I heard him say, is it's a waste of time. You can worship in your house and all that good stuff. And this person is saying, I pray you don't have a problem that only going to church will save you. What kind of problem is that you have to go to church to solve? Please, I would like to know what that type of problem is, right? That you have if you're sick, you go to the hospital, right? So what is the problem you need to go to church for? Hey, man, only in Nigeria, but for sure, man. Let's keep going. spilling rubbish with confidence. Hey, he said some things with some actual facts, right? He gave you some scriptures to go read in the Bible. But if you're going to say he's saying rubbish with confidence, if you're going to say this, how about you tell us why you think so? Not just giving us this open-ended opinion. He's told you, okay, let's assume he told you 1 + 1 is equal to 3. And now you come out and say, oh, you're just saying rubbish. How about you prove him wrong? How about that? Prove him wrong rather than just saying he's saying rubbish, right? Well, anyway, you do you. Stop posting this Antichrist, serve your God and let others serve their God in peace. This dude is not Antichrist. In this recording he made here, he never said anything about being an Antichrist, right? Instead, he's propagating the gospel in his own way. At some point, I think he also had his own mini church where, people worshipped with him every Sunday or so, right? Hey, man, I don't know what you think, what Antichrist means to you, but I don't know if Daddy Freeze, I don't think Daddy Freeze fits that description. All right. I don't blame him. When Bishop Oyedepo, they drive Rolls Royce, but his congregation, they enter bike. I can't even remember last time I went to church. Absolutely, you do what's best for you. This person says the carnal mind can never discern. What are these spiritual things that are only available in Nigeria? What are these spiritual things that are only available in Nigeria? They don't exist in any other part of the world, right? Just in Nigeria. These spiritual things, these supposedly spiritual things. The God of Israel, they always talk about in the Bible and in Nigeria and almost the whole of Africa, right? Israel uses modern technology to fight their warfare, their battles. They use modern technology. But in Africa, we use God of Israel. Why is Israel not using their God to fight their warfare? This person says the carnal mind can never discern spiritual things. That's why I'm trying to understand these spiritual things, right? Because in Nigeria, you always talk about the God of Israel, the God of Israel, the God of Israel. But Israel doesn't even, somehow, I don't know, they don't use that their supposed God. They use actual technology. Right? They use actual technology to fight their warfare, to go into battle and all that good stuff. So, hey, keep playing with yourself. Keep deceiving yourself. By the time you know what's going on, you're old and you're dead. And then you've lived a life of thinking everything is about spirituality. But that's on you. That's your problem, not my problem. All right. This person says, please don't listen to him. This is a false, I guess he wanted to say false. False information. You have lost your zeal or hunger for the things of God. Doesn't mean it's same for everyone. That's your personal preference, sir. Do you really think you can do life serving God all by yourself in your house? The cares of life won't even allow you focus. Distractions as well. Go to church, my dear brothers. Don't give in to this. And again, he didn't say never go to church. He said you could do it in your house. People just don't listen. They just want to listen to respond. They don't listen critically and analytically. They just listen and get a buzzword, and then boom, they make a comment or they respond. It's very interesting. I learned from Daddy Freeze years back how powerful the Lord's Prayer is, how it covers your requests and all. I have been saying faithfully since then with personal just say that prayer and relax. I don't know what this person is trying to say, but anyway, this is the last comment that I can see here. I guess I can make more comments come on, but it's no point. We read over 10 comments already, and I think that's enough for this one. But anyway, hey, you do what's best for you. Everyone is going to do what's best for them as well. And with that, we're going to go to the next story here, which I have, and it's Burna Boy arrests Speed Darlington. I think I covered a story last week where I made a statement where Burna Boy being an associate of Diddy or friends with Diddy in the past, and we've seen how his stocks rose, and he eventually won the Grammys. Within that period of him being friends with Diddy and all that good stuff. So there's another Nigerian, I would say, influencer. I'll say singer, influencer. Or rapper influencer, whatever he calls himself, right? But his name is Speed Darlington. And he also came out sometime maybe 2 weeks ago and made some accusations. I don't think I watched the whole video in its entirety, but excuse me. But he made some accusations, against Burna Boy, and in that video, he accused Burna Boy of being bisexual or gay or whatever, because of the Diddy whole lubricant, or what's it called, baby oil scandal that has been rocking the internet for the past, I don't know, past 1 month now, since the feds decided to talk about the 1,000 baby oils, right? And I also talked about that as well, because who needs 1,000 bottles of baby oil, right? But hey, I don't think Burna Boy found that funny or interest, or funny, and he took some actions according to Linda Ikeji's blog, which I saw the post actually. Linda Ikeji's blog reported that Burna Boy arrested Speed Darlington due to those accusations that he made. Hey, so here's my thing, right? Burna Boy, who is one person that always wants to put himself or portray himself as this African giant, the person who's going to stand for the people. He does a lot of songs, fusing Fela. We know who Fela is and what Fela stands for in terms of social justice and all that stuff, right? The kind of music he made, talking about the government and how the government oppresses the people and all that good stuff. So Burna Boy also likes to portray himself in that light, right? Likes to portray himself in that light. He's made a lot of samples of Fela's music in the past. Can't remember anyone off the top of my head right now, but I know he's done a lot of sampling of Fela's music in the past, right? Trying to portray himself pretty much like, oh, I'm the newborn Fela, right? I'm the new guy in town. I'm the new guy that's gonna do this Fela stuff, right? I'm carrying that legacy, right? But hey, Fela was oppressed by the government, burnt his house, murdered his mom, Remi Kuti, did a whole lot of atrocious things to Fela. And eventually Fela, passed on as well. And his kids also are, doing the thing. And today we have the Fela shrine, or African shrine, somewhere in Lagos, right? Which everybody goes there to, to just enjoy the culture, enjoy the spirit, I would say, of Fela, right? But if that's who you think you are taking on his legacy, Fela, to the best of my knowledge, Fela was never someone who punched down on people. Fela punched up. Fela punched up. Like, Fela never fought he never even fought the people who were on his level. He was always fighting the people who were above him, who were the government, right? So he was punching up on people, not down. You don't punch down on people, man. I mean, definitely, if someone accuses me of stuff, right? Like, those accusations that Speed Darlington made, right? Definitely my feelings would be hurt, right? But hey, those are just words. Those are just words. What you can do is either accept or deny, right? Say, oh no, I don't know what this guy is talking about. I never had any type of sexual relationships with PDD. He was a friend of mine. We were friends, we were associates or whatever. He helped me executive produce my album, and eventually my album became a Grammy nominated album, and ultimately I won a Grammy, right? I would think that's what you do. That's what most people would do, right? If someone accuses you, hey, you stole this, you did this, you don't just go arrest the person and tag it, oh, it's a defamation of character. And you've not even denied these accusations. All you did was arrest the person. You've up till now, to the best of my knowledge, you've not even said, oh no, that's not me, that's not who I am, that's not, I don't know where these speculations are coming from. Maybe you've denied it somewhere, but I haven't seen it though. And I'm all over the internet every day, all day, every day. You've not denied these allegations. But the thing that you thought was the best for you to do was to go on and arrest the person who made these accusations. I'll tell you something about Jay-Z, right? Jay-Z recently, there's this news anchor or news personality, Piers Morgan. Most people would know Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan recently had this Jaguar, right? I think that's her name, on his show, where she made a whole lot of false accusations about Jay-Z Also regarding the PDD situation, right? Also regarding the PDD situation, she made all these false accusations about Jay-Z, saying Jay-Z was, worse than or is worse than PDD, and potentially should also be, pretty much trying to call for his arrest and stuff, or instigate some stuff, right? What did Jay-Z do? He sent a cease and desist to Piers Morgan to not air that interview on his channel anymore, to take it down, as a matter of fact, not just not airing it, to take it down. And guess what the name of that show is called? Uncensored, by Piers Morgan. I'm not making this up. You can go check it out, right? Uncensored by Piers Morgan. So if someone calls their show Uncensored, you would think they can go on there and say anything on do whatever they want to do, right? But Piers Morgan, in his ultimate wisdom, knew exactly what to do. He took it down and he made an apology video to Jay-Z. That's what reasonable people do. You deny those accusations. You can use your attorney or your team, your management to deny these accusations. And that's what Jay-Z did. His lawyers came up and said, hey, these are baseless and foundless accusations, and we don't know where they're coming from. We don't know who this person is. Also, Vlad TV, I think Vlad, shout out to Vlad. I always watch his interviews, right? I think he was on that interview as well. And this same lady was Vlad also made a statement, even though it wasn't even related to him. He also made a statement, also denying those claims. But hey, what does the African giant do? He punched down. He punched down on his fellow Nigerian when you should be punching up to the government. We're dealing with a whole lot of crisis right now. In terms of cost of living globally is out of pocket. Like, it's crazy. It's outrageous, right? Cost of living globally. But in Nigeria, it's 100 times worse. And instead of you to punch up to these people, you decide to punch down on the same very people who are in this together with you. I just think that's very interesting and very unfortunate. And again, like I said, Burna Boy, I've not seen the denial video, you denying these accusations. All you did was arrest this guy. But anyway, that's just a Nigerian being a Nigerian. When a little power is handed to them, they tend to behave exactly like the same thing they've been complaining about. And that's what Burna Boy has portrayed by doing what he did. But anyway, with that, I'm going to move to the next story that I have here. And the next story I have here is Asake, his MMS video. Man, shout out to Asake, man. I'm a big fan, right? Even though 50% or even maybe 70% of what he says, I don't even understand, right? Because it's always in Yoruba. But hey, the melody, the flow, the sound, the production, everything just comes in place. And regardless of what he says, I don't care again. I just keep going. I remember when he dropped, I forget the name of that album, but the name of that song was Nzanza. I put that song on repeat, even though I don't even know what Nzanza means, Nzanza or Nzanza. That song was on repeat for multiple days, man. Man, shout out to Asake, man. Asake is just killing it. Asake is killing it. I actually have 2 stories about him today. So once I'm done with this one, I'm going to go to the next story about Asake, because he's just killing it right now globally. He's killing it. 2-3 years ago, we're hearing the likes of Burna Boys, the videos. I don't even want to talk about Wizkid because I don't know the last time he dropped a big banger, right? But Asake, 2-3 years ago, we've been, Burna Boy has been topping the charts in the Afrobeat space. We Davido, and all these new guys as well, Rema, and recently also we've seen Charlie Poppy come up, right? Shout out to my guys, what's his name? Almale. These new guys, they've been killing it, right? But Asake is the next global star coming from Nigeria, Afrobeats. That's guaranteed. That's guaranteed. That's just, you can't beat what this dude is doing. Like his production, his sound. And hey, I have to shout out Olamide, right? Because this is something that Olamide is doing in the background, right? But hey, let me stick to what I'm talking about here and not rush to conclusions here. But I have to shout out Olamide, right? Because Olamide is doing a lot of things in the background, right? He's signed to Olamide's record label, which is the YBNL So definitely, Olamide is definitely involved in his career. He's got a lot of great features, and the recent one he had was with Travis Scott, and I think that record with Travis Scott is also being nominated for the Grammys. But hey, the MMS video is just something you need to go check out. That's for sure. That's for sure. It was incredible. And Wizkid, even though I have a lot of things to say about Wizkid all the time, right? But hey, Wizkid did his thing on that one, right? Shout out to them, man. The video there were some still photos, and Asake was walking in the background, and there were still photos around him. And when he got to where Wizkid was, Wizkid also came out from wherever he was and started walking, singing, and eventually the still photos came to life. Hey man, you need to see the video and just ignore what I'm saying and go check out Asake's MMS video. That's for sure. And talking about Asake still, he's being considered for 5 Grammys. I have let me see those Grammys that he's being considered for here. One second. There we go. The new album, Lungu Boy, was playing in the background. I hope you didn't hear that. But hey, the new album Lungu Boy is being considered for 5 Grammys. And last week, I talked about Shabuzi, also of Nigerian descent, being considered for 11 Grammys, right? Today it's Asake. I think Asake, the consideration came out last week or so, and that's when I found it, at least. MMS featuring Wizkid, obviously, you got to give it to him, right? That record was a good one. Best African music performance. The album itself, album of the year, best global music album, best immersive audio album, and then active featuring Travis Scott, record of the year. I don't know, man. I think his best chance of winning a Grammy here would be the MMS featuring Wizkid, because there he has, best African music performance, right? I think that's where he has his best chance of winning a Grammy. But the record of the year, I don't know, man. I think Taylor Swift has been doing her thing. Taylor Swift has been doing her. I don't know if she dropped an album this year, but she's there. Let me actually check out the people Grammy nominations. Let me actually see who the people who are in the same category as him. I hope I can find it in the next minute. Otherwise, I'm gonna move. Otherwise, I'm gonna move to the next story here. Album of the year, we have Beyonce, man. Beyonce is there, man. It's gonna be really hard for you to win the album. Taylor, man. Hey, listen, man. I'm not trying to talk shit, but okay, it says record of the year. Lungu Boy is also in the album of the year, I guess. So let's see. Well, I don't see here. That's interesting. Well, all these people, Post Malone is on there, Usher is on there, Beyonce is on there, Ariana Grande is on there, Billie Eilish is, man, it's gonna be hard to do that one for sure. Record of the year, let's see. Very interesting. I think it's gonna be hard for him to win those ones. But the one I think he has the best chance of winning would be the MMS featuring with Wizkid, which is the best African music performance. That one he has a better chance to win for sure. But hey, man, let's go to the next story I have here, which is about Wizkid. Hey, like I said, right? I have a lot of shit to say about Wizkid. I have a lot of shit to say about Wizkid, right? I listened to a snippet of one of the songs. I would think the name of that song would be Dance, because they kept saying dance, dance. And here's my thing, right? I know I've said this a million times already, but now I'm probably sounding like a broken record, but hey, I'm gonna say it again. Wizkid is Nigerian, first and foremost, right? And I don't know. I think he lives in, I don't know where he lives right now, but he definitely knows and understands the sufferings of Nigeria, of Nigerians, right? Wizkid has a very big voice, a loud voice, right? I don't mean it literally. I mean it as an expression. Wizkid has a voice that will be heard and that can be heard. But Wizkid, and not just Wizkid, by the way, it's most of these top Nigerian musicians, right? They choose or they decide not to use their voice. They decide not to use their voice. They would rather make music that's all about feeling good. And it would never make sense to me. It would never make sense to me. You're making the people who listen to your music the most, who are Nigerians, right? Millions and millions of Nigerians, right? You're trying to make them feel good, even though their economic situation is very bad in this very moment, right? And I heard a song, again, this is just a snippet of the album because they had a listening party the other day and they were giving us some snippets of the songs in the album, right? And it was dance. I could hear dance and people were dancing. And then one of the lines there was like, anything I give them, then go chop. Literally meaning whatever he does, his fans or people are still going to listen to it. Talk about gaslighting, right? Talk about gaslighting, man. If gaslighting was someone, that would be it, right? I don't know. I guess I'm not in that situation. I'm not in that position of, that they are in. So I probably wouldn't understand why they're not doing it. But for me, just looking from the outside, it would never make any sense to me. How your people are suffering. The people who listen to your music the most are suffering in the hands of this government. And you can't even say a word about it. You can't even say anything about it. You can't. You'd rather make feel-good music. Buju Banton made that comment in an interview on the Drink Champs interview, where he said Afrobeats is pretty much just fuckery. How can I fault him for saying that, right? How can I in good faith, in good conscience, fault Buju Banton when the Afrobeat stars are all making feel good music, when they should be making conscious music that would help emancipate their people from these struggles, right? That they're going through in this time. Put their minds aright. Let them think in the right way, because believe it or not, these musicians have a lot of influence on people. I'm talking about influence, right? The one that gets me is literally grown men standing these celebrities. You'd see a grown man talking about, I'm a Wizkid FC. I'm an OBO gang. Grown men who should have children if everything was okay, right? Who should have their own families and have little boys and little girls that would look up to them. But they're talking about I'm a Wizkid FC. Standing these celebrities, man. It would never make sense to me. And why is that? Why is that happening, right? Why is that happening? Because the celebrities they stand are feeding off of that standship. They keep giving them what they want to hear. But you could also force them to hear what you want them to hear, you being the celebrity or you being the influencer. These are my feelings about these top Afrobeats artists, right? This is how I feel about them. I just think it's very interesting. But having said that, anyway, I'm gonna move to the next story that I have here, which is Rodwave topping all Apple Music charts. This was as at yesterday. And I don't even listen to Rodwave. That's the crazy part. I don't know any Rodwave songs, right? That's the crazy part, right? I don't know any Rodwave songs. But hey, this dude is just killing it, right? As at yesterday, I'm looking for the image here. It was on DJ Academic's page on Instagram. I'm gonna share this screen real quick. Rodwave's Last Lap is aiming for the biggest streaming day on Apple Music since Taylor Swift's last album. It will outstream the latest albums from Future, Eminem, Sabrina Carpenter, Billie Eilish, Post Malone, and more. Wow. Wow. Just look at this crazy chart, right? 23 over 23. 23 over 23, like... Bro, you can't make this up, man. This is insane, man. Talk about influence, right? You can't make this up, man. And hey, I don't even know one Rodwave song. Hey, I'm just one motherfucker, right? I'm just one person. So I don't even count, right? But listen, look at this. Just look at this. This is insane, man. But hey, man, shout out to Rodwave, man. Killing it for sure. Killing it. All right, I'm gonna go. That was a very short story, I guess I had. I just wanted to put that out there. That Rodwave is doing his thing in the American music or global music charts. You know, he's just killing it, doing his thing for sure. But hey, man, the next story I have here, which I think is gonna be the last for today, is about the boxing match that went on yesterday, man. Author Beterbiev, I hope I'm saying your name right. I'm sorry. Versus Bivol, man. Hey, man. This really got me sad. Typically, I would work all day, right? Typically, I would work all day. But I had this fight in mind. So I scheduled my day. So I would stop working exactly at 4:30, right? And then I'll head home and come watch the fight. I got home at round 3, maybe around 5:03, 5:06-ish p.m. because I'm on Central Time, right? 5:03 p.m., 5:06 p.m., around that. It was in the round 3. And what I saw was Bivol dominating this fight. That's what I saw. He was dominating in the center of the ring, never went to the ropes, kept boxing, moving. For all 12 rounds, Bivol was moving. Bivol never, and that's typical Bivol, right? He kept moving. The commentators, the commenters were, commentators who, the guys who comment on the commentary, right? They were speculating that, he was going to wear down after a little while. He couldn't keep up with the pace, walking around, in his style, right? In Bivol style, right? Classic Bivol style, right? They were speculating, he can't do this for 12 rounds. He can't. He's gonna get tired. His legs are gonna. No, he did that for 12 rounds. Kept blocking, punching. His defense was impeccable, man. He was offensive. He was defensive at the same time. And I'm not taking anything from Beterbiev himself. But in my opinion, most of the punches that Beterbiev threw, we are landing on the gloves because what's his name? Bivol had his gloves up all night. His gloves were up all night. Peekaboo, that's what they call it, right? The peekaboo. His gloves were up all night. So that's what I saw at least, right? But I don't know what the refs, the judges, I don't know what the judges saw. I don't know what the judges saw in that fight and scored it. And one judge had the audacity to score that 116 to 112. 4 rounds for Beterbiev. Was it the same fight I was watching, or was it a different fight? 4 rounds. Where did you get 4 rounds from to give to Beterbiev? Hey, that was a close fight. That's for sure. You can say that's a close fight, but 4 rounds? Man, boxing is just a hell of a sport, man. Boxing is a hell of a sport. That's all I can say, man. Boxing is a hell of a sport. This is my dude right here. This guy is always going to remain my champion. I'm a warrior. I don't have any explanation because it could look like excuses. I just congratulations to Ato and his team. He deserves it. This is class. Class. Outright class. I think I have more screenshots to show here. Thanks everyone who supported me and worried about me. I accept the results and move on. Class. Class. You can't, no excuses. It was just boxing at its best from Bivol. Walking all night, walking around all night, his hands up, boxing, punching, being defensive. And somehow one judge decided to score 116 to 114. That's 112. That's 4 rounds to Beterbiev. At least say it was a close fight. At least you can say it's a close fight, and that would be believable, right? You can make it a very close fight. That would be believable. Why is my things acting up? Let me see. I hope we can see this together. Let's see what this judge. See what I'm saying? 116, 112. How? How? Where did you get that from? 116, 112. And this one says 115, 113. This one says 114, 114. Powell Cardini. How? How did you do this? How? 116 to 112. I don't know, man. I mean, but he's a champ, so obviously he wouldn't want to come up and make excuses. And definitely shout out to him, because if it was the average boxer, they would be like, "Oh, I was robbed. I was this. I was that. But everybody saw that fight, right? Everybody saw that fight. Everybody saw that fight. But I don't know what the refs or the judges saw in that fight to score 116, 114, 112. Keep saying 114. And this is from Radio Rahim. Radio Rahim says, all right, he says controversy. I guess these are the CompuBox metrics. Hey man, I don't want to get into all of this, because I really came back home yesterday to watch this fight and watch Bivol win, right? Even though it was a scary fight for me, because Beterbiev has knocked out all his opponents, right? So it was a very scary one for me, being a Bivol fan, and I was really scared, worried, but Bivol did his thing, and I liked the celebration he did after the fight was over. Hopefully, I can find that photo. Let me see. Where's Bivol? I'm gonna find him real quick. The celebration he did when the fight was over. I hope I find it. There we go. It's this one. Perfect. This celebration or whatever it was, I think it's like pretty much saying, all the haters, right? What are you saying now? What do you have to say, right? This was just when he made this celebration. I'm like, oh, shoot. Where is the noise now? Who's talking now? Who's laughing? I'm standing. People said I was going to be knocked out, but check me out. I'm standing and I won this fight. How about that? Well, hey, man, with that, I'm going to end this live for today. And next week is going to be another one with interesting stories like usual. I appreciate everyone who's tuned in, picked out. I appreciate you. Just wait until I'm done, and then I'm going to go cut the videos into smaller pieces, and hopefully you're going to enjoy that part if you didn't want to stay for the long form video. And I'm also going to drop the long form video for you to watch, just enjoy the whole show if that's what you want to do. But I appreciate everyone who's tuned in, by the way. And with that, I'm going to say thank you to everyone and see you next week. Peace.